We'll start with the first segment, and I'll hand it over to Pascal with You Ask, We Answer.
Now, this is fascinating. This question actually came about when I spotted a LinkedIn conversation actually became a very animated conversation that was started by my good friend Richard Tubb. And it was all to do with him getting a question actually from somebody from the IT industry. So we are in a kind of professional services domain. And this idea of, should I share my fees and prices on my website? The thing is, I'm worried that people are going to reach the wrong conclusion by just seeing a price and exclude me based on price alone that to them may seem too high. And then this debate really kind of became alive. It was a good example of what LinkedIn can do. And we're going to actually repurpose that as an article with naming all the participants. But that's interesting, because even in the business to consumer world, pricing is tough in terms of deciding which price you're going to go for. But how do you explain? How do you express value? And how do you avoid as well this friction when people get to check out and there's additional prices that we're not aware of? And then, of course, we've got the business to business, because projects are unique. They sometimes it's very, very hard to capture it and then publish it on your website. And then there's, of course, the concern that what if the competition was to go around your website, see your prices, and try and undercut you? So it's very emotionally charged, isn't it? This business of prices on website. But I'm going to turn over to you, Jonny. What say you?
Well, it's emotionally charged on both sides, because the buyer potentially will be making very quick decisions purely based on seeing a number, and the seller is always worried about, is it too high? Are they going to go for it? And having worked with so many business owners like yourself, Pascal, doing those in-person events for so many years with so many delegates, all owning small to medium businesses, every business is worried about their pricing, and most businesses, don't price things high enough. They're too scared. They don't want to talk about the price. They want to, save that till the last moment. They don't want to show it on the website. And all the buyer's interested in a lot of cases, is the price. You can spend days writing a proposal and send over a 30-page document. And which page do they look for first? Well, all they're interested in is, where's the price? And so much.
Go on. That's all that time I spent on my exec summary and all that time I spent on describing my training program. But I learned, thanks to other sales professionals, that the tactic that I use now, if I get a request very, very quickly, I send what I call an overview proposal. So it takes less time on my part to describe everything we're going to do. The price is there, and we'll explain how we can break it down. Because if I'm going to get a rejection, I'd rather have it if I only spend a couple of hours, not a couple of days. But if I take you back to the website, and let's begin with B2C. So the stats, the research is out there. The consumers want to know the price of what they're going to buy. And we're going to talk about physical items primarily, although it could be digital as well. But the number one grumble is that there's always surprises and additional cost at the checkout time. And people absolutely hate this.
And so that's exactly like the airlines, isn't it? So that's what they're renowned for. And perhaps buying tickets, there's always that additional fee, and that, so I fully agree. And if you're in the airline industry, I guess you can get away with it because every airline does it. And so, but I think if you're wanting to get the consumer on your side, then the less hidden stuff there is, and the more value you add right from the beginning. So, here is the price, and actually it includes everything, or you're just very transparent. So it's all about transparency. For B2C, you have to be absolutely crystal clear, transparent, making it very easy to understand, and no hidden surprises is the best way to win consumers. From a B2B point of view, I don't think, unfortunately, there's no right or wrong as to whether you should show prices on your website. I think some of it depends on the industry. But I think giving guides, giving some understanding of price is really helpful. I think what it does is actually it speeds up the process of finding the right clients, because ultimately, and this is the message that I give to small businesses, is that ultimately the price should be the right price. Forget whether you're going to sell it or not. You need to price something up so that you're making enough money to to be profitable. That's what a business is about, and to either buy you the time to have a lifestyle business or buy you profit to be able to pay staff, etc., etc. So the price needs to be the right price. Don't be shy of the price. Have it at the level that it needs to be, and then actually use it to sift out the people that aren't going to spend that sort of money, and it actually saves a lot of time. So I think having prices on websites is a good idea, and yes, because on a B2B point of view, a lot of projects are a bit more individual, a bit more unique, a bit more bespoke. You can use things like case studies to demonstrate. You might be wondering our prices. Well, here's an example. We did this, this, and this for this type of industry. This is the results we got. And by the way, this was the sort of spend that they spent with us. And so that is one way out of many ways of just giving an idea of costs.
I like what you're saying, which is there's no right or wrong. You make a decision. You don't feature the prices, but you have to probably then put pressure on yourself in terms of the value statements and more. If you're going to put the prices, they have to be meaningful, because ultimately you could argue just a price, a bunch of numbers on the web page. I'm still no further forward as a potential buyer to understand the why you derive that price. So case studies I like because they can correlate. I've seen people actually putting packages together. See, actually, if you're unsure and if you're looking, we will have a conversation. But here's an example of item 1, 2, 3, 7, and 12 combined together. This is the bracket that would be looking at. I've seen examples as well, particularly in the IT industry, where they do a very good job to describe the structure of the proposal as well. That could be actually very, very interesting. So listen, the price is between X and Z, but actually when you receive the documentation from us, this is what how we're going to break it down for you. So I think showing just enough of the how you do what you do, which is a phrase that I use a lot, can be very, very helpful. But judging by the reaction on LinkedIn for when my friend Richard Tubb mentioned it. It's an ongoing debate. So with that in mind, viewers and listeners, please let us know what is your position, but also have you seen good example, particularly in B2B, but also B2C, of how people go about communicating not just the price, but communicating the value and how they do what they do.